up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be talking about the FAL and its Burst Perk. Since we've been talking about the AUG and the M16 and how good both those guns are, I thought it'd be interesting to look into some of the other potentially viable burst guns. So the M16 and the AUG are both 3 burst kills if you don't hit a headshot. So it takes 7 shots to kill, so 2 full bursts and then 1 extra bullet after the second burst delay. Whereas the FAL does enough damage that it's always a 2 burst, even if you shoot him in the toe with all 6 shots. So it's kind of unique compared to the other two in that sense. So we're going to go through and I'll show you the recoil and show you TTKs, and we'll see if this gun's actually viable. Actually, the first thing I'm going to show is the recoil, because obviously if the recoil is out of control, then the gun's not going to be viable no matter how much damage it does. So on the left, we have the M16 with my build that I like, which is the agency suppressor, the titanium barrel, the field agent foregrip, the axial arms 3x optic, and then the 60 round salvo fast mag. And then the middle is the FAL with monolithic suppressor, XRK marksman, which is the long barrel, commando foregrip, Cronin optic, and then the burst perk. And then the right side is just replacing the commando on the FAL with the ranger foregrip. So you can see that with the commando foregrip, the middle of the three, the FAL is reasonably consistent. It looks similar to the M16, a little bit more inconsistent. I mean, there's more side-to-side randomness to the center bullet compared to the M16, but it's not awful. It's really not bad. It's probably actually decently usable with the commando foregrip. And then on the right side with the ranger foregrip instead of the commando, something that was interesting is the first and second bullet, at least at this range, were so close together that they basically went in the same bullet hole on the wall when you have the ranger foregrip on there. So basically that means that you're getting 2 shots in almost the same spot, and then the third shot's a little bit higher. So if you use the FAL with the marksman barrel, the ranger foregrip, and the burst perk, you can kind of you don't even really have to correct for the recoil. You kind of just like shoot at their stomach, and the first 2 bullets will hit, and then the third bullet will either be chest or head, because the third bullet bounces up a bunch. So it's really not bad in terms of actual recoil spread pattern on the wall. And of the two, I would definitely say the ranger came out better, because those first 2 bullets hitting the same spot is really powerful. It's really really makes the gun more usable, having both shots go in the same spot, especially because the FAL hits so hard compared to the M16. So we'll jump into the damage values next. All right, so for damage values, you can see that the FAL's on the left here, the M16's on the right. In the first damage range of the FAL, it does 100 to the head, 58 to the chest, 49 to the stomach, 49 to extremities. And then the M16 does 72 to the head, 40 to the chest, 40 to the stomach, 40 to extremities. So you get significantly more damage with the FAL in the first damage range, but unlike the M16, it does have 1 damage drop-off, but it's not a significant damage drop-off. So let's look at the second one. It's past 21 meters with attachments, so it's probably like 35 meters or something, but I'll have to look at the actual numbers. So after 21 meters, it's 92 to the head, 54 to the chest, 45 to the stomach, 45 to extremities. So it's still a good amount more than the M16 does. And what's interesting is at 45 number, if you do the math on that, it ends up that it's always a 6-shot kill, even if you shoot them in the stomach and the extremities at range, like I was saying at the start of the video. So you always get that 2-burst kill, whereas the M16, 40 damage is not enough to get a 2-burst kill. So you always have to wait for that 3rd burst. But obviously that doesn't matter if the burst delay and the burst timings are really slow on the FAL. So we'll go look at that next and talk about that. But the headshot damage is crazy on the FAL. It does 92 to the head at range and 100 up close compared to the M16 72. That's a significant difference there. Okay, so jumping over to the spreadsheet to look at damage, burst timings, fire rate, and TTKs. So the M16 burst timings are here. This is with the titanium barrel, because I think that's the barrel to use for the M16, no question. So 15, 12, 65, that's the number of frames at 240 FPS between each shot, and then the burst delay is the 65. The FAL burst timings are dramatically slower, so 30, 27, 93. So you can tell right off the bat it's significantly slower. Average fire rate calculated over here, so 470 for the M16 and only 290 for the FAL. That's a huge difference. So even though the FAL is a 2-burst kill, always, it still kills slower than the 3-burst with the M16 just because the burst rate is so much slower. So the difference here, the 3-burst kill for the M16 with the titanium barrel is 0.77 seconds, and then the FAL, the 2-burst kill, is 0.86 seconds. So it's not that much slower with the 2-burst kill, but I added in a really important number here on the right, which is the TTK with 1 headshot, which actually happens pretty often with these guns that directly burst up into their head. So with the FAL, because of the way the damage values work out, you go from taking 6 bullets to kill to 5 bullets to kill with a headshot. So it only reduces, it only takes off that last shot. It doesn't change the number of burst delays you have. So the change is not that significant. It goes from 0.86 to 0.75 with a headshot. So it's really not that much faster. But the M16, on the other hand, goes from 7 shots to kill to 6 shots to kill. So between the 6th and 7th shot, there's a burst delay. So you get a dramatically faster TTK if you hit 1 headshot with the M16 or the AUG, because the AUG has the same damage values. So that's why, damage-wise, the M16 is significantly better than the FAL. So one last thing I want to talk about is visual recoil of the FAL. So I showed you the recoil patterns on the wall here. The FAL actually has less recoil than the M16 in terms of actual spread pattern recoil. So the vertical amount of the recoil is actually smaller with the FAL. But if you take a look at visual recoil, so the M16 has very, very little visual recoil. So let's just shoot, I'll shoot this tree. So M16 has almost no visual recoil. The screen's not bouncing around a lot. It's really easy to see your target as you're shooting at them. I can put all these shots in the same spot with the M16 because I've practiced controlling that burst recoil. But then if you use the FAL, let me reload it real fast. If you use the FAL, you'll see, first of all, the Cronin has less zoom than the Axial Arms 3X, so I'll put this tree on the left side, right on the left side of the screen, when I zoom in with the Axial Arms. So that tree's right on the left edge of the screen. Now if I swap to the Cronin, don't move the mouse at all, you'll see that the tree is closer to the center, which means the Cronin has less zoom. So that should actually help the visual recoil. The more zoom you have, the more violent the visual recoil is supposed to be. But let's do this again real fast. So you can see visual recoil of the M16. Swap over to the FAL. So much more visual recoil. Screen's bouncing around. It's way harder to see your target. And that makes a huge difference when you're actually using the gun in gunfights. So that's another tick for the M16. And the Commando foregrip, even though the video I made earlier in the week talked about Commando foregrip helping visual recoil, it really doesn't seem to with the FAL very much at all. I still think the Ranger's a better choice if you want to try this gun out. But yeah, the visual recoil is probably the thing that makes it the hardest to use of all the stuff I've covered in the video. Just because it's hard to see where you're going to be shooting because the gun's bouncing around so much. You kind of just have to trust that that second bullet's going to go in the right spot because there's so much recoil. There's so much visual recoil, it looks like it's going to go somewhere else entirely. Whereas the M16 has almost none. And you can just put all your shots in the same spot, no problem. One other thing I forgot to mention about the FAL, because you have to use the Burst Perk as an attachment slot, you basically get one less attachment than you normally would, so you kind of can't fit in a magazine. You kind of need the Ranger foregrip, I feel, to make the gun decent. So I really don't think you can put a magazine on there, so there's 20 rounds. So that's another tick against the FAL. Overall, obviously, in my opinion, the FAL is nowhere near as good as the M16 for all the reasons I covered in this video, but I still thought it was interesting to talk about and show you guys, so hope you found it useful. Alright everybody, well I hope you enjoyed the video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, and subscribe for more in the future. So hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.